in reality, in an LLM, it can be several 100,000, but let's say 3. So you feed 3 words to the system, and it produces the next word. Now, of course, it cannot predict exactly the next word, so what it produces is a probability distribution over all the possible words in a dictionary. And typically, in an LLM, we don't actually train it to produce word, we train it to produce tokens, which are like sub-word units, and a typical number of possible tokens would be on the order of 100,000. Okay, so now when you use the system, you feed it a sequence of words, called a prompt. You have the system predict the next word, and then you take that and you shift it into the input. So now you can ask the system, what is the second next word? And produce it, shift it into the input, produce the third word, shift it into the input. So that's basically autoregressive prediction, a very old concept, obviously, in signal processing and statistics. And it works really well. It works amazingly well. If you make those neural nets really large, you train them with very large input windows on tens of trillions of tokens, data sets that have tens of trillions of tokens, sequences with tens of trillions of tokens. It works amazingly well. Those systems seem to discover a lot of underlying structure about language or about whatever sequence of symbols you're training it on. But it is a major issue with autoregressive prediction. And as mathematicians in the room here, we probably do a much better job than me at kind of writing proofs about this, but autoregressive prediction is kind of a divergent process, right? If you imagine that you have those symbols are discrete, so every time you produce a symbol, you have multiple choices, maybe 100,000 choices. You can think of the sequence of all possible tokens as some gigantic tree with a branching factor of 100,000. Okay, within this gigantic tree is a small subtree that corresponds to all answers that could be qualified as correct. Okay, all continuations that you would think are qualified as correct. So if the prompt is a question, the answer would be the produced text would contain the answer. Now that subtree is a tiny subset of the gigantic tree of possible sequence of symbols. And the problem is, if you assume, which of course is false, that there is some sort of probability of error every time you produce a symbol, and you assume those errors are independent, and that probability is E, then the probability that the sequence of n symbols will be correct is 1 minus e to the power n. Even if E is really small, this has got to diverge exponentially. And it's not fixable within the context of autoregressive prediction. So my prediction is that autoregressive LLMs are good.